can hear.
Does anyone mind if I gradually eat Maltesers just very slowly?
That's fine. But you have to throw them up in the air and catch them in your mouth. That's the thing.
I can't do that. I've got coordination. Like,
throw them at the audience. They'll catch them in their mouth. Hello.
Hello. Welcome. Well, we're live, and this is Mass Effect Debrief. We're going to be chatting to I can't show my t-shirts. I've got a Resident Evil podcast t-shirt on today, so I'll be advertising the wrong one. But yeah, welcome to the channel. Welcome to the live stream. We're here. This is a live recording of the Lazarus Project podcast, and we are joined by the Normandy News Feed crew. We've got N7Kate. And we've also got N7Dante as well. So
hello there.
Hello.
We're going to be chatting about the N7 Day and just giving you our thoughts, I think. Oh, and we've also got my co-host as well, which is Craig.
Yay!
Okay.
Poor Craig.
There we go.
I just
see my mug. So yeah, welcome to the show, guys.
I'm really overdoing it with the N7. It's like advertising here for the
merchandise is strong.
That's literally what I'm doing. Jesus. Okay.
Oh, I wish my Garrus thing arrived. I've got the Garrus thing coming, the Tiki mug.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
very nice.
Yeah.
Has yours?
It was a good price. It's not come yet, no.
I'm gonna order mine. Yeah, I'm gonna get. I still haven't got signed pictures. Oh, is this from when you interviewed him?
Yeah.
Oh,
yes.
That's
I'm still waiting
incredible.
for mine.
It arrived this morning.
Damn, that is so cool. He seemed like such a great guy. Like, just amazing.
I'm still waiting
He
for
was.
mine.
He was brilliant. Yeah, he was brilliant. We interviewed Tom Taylorson as well, and we had I had to go to work. So I had to close the conversation. I expected it to last an hour, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm fine. Carry on talking."
we did talk about British, like English football for like the first half hour. So.
Okay.
Wow.
Not even anything related to Andromeda. Why the hell not?
Well, he is such an amazing guy, and I do hope we can get that one up soon. I'm working on it. I will get it. Should be a couple of weeks away, I would say 2 or 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Just because to fit with how we usually upload them. Because I think you and me, Tim, we do try to do the monthly thing, don't we?
Yeah, we try to get at least once a month. So we've got a couple in the. Still got a couple in the bag. We've got Taylor.
We've got that one. And we've got this one. So, a couple in the bag, technically.
Got a few stored for posterity.
What's your... I'll start with you, Kate. What was your initial brief thoughts of the N7 Day trailer?
I don't know. Like, I kind of enjoyed the way in which it all sort of panned out. Like, I really, really enjoyed that. Like the little breadcrumbs and like finding the binary code and having to translate that all and it cutting into like 3 segments, like little clips and stuff. And I will admit, when I saw the N7 stripe, might have freaked out just a little bit. You know, like a lot actually. Thinking, oh God, okay, is it going to be Shepard? Is this where they're going to confirm it? And then obviously, it's not Shepard. It's not Shepard. Like 100%, I don't think it's Shepard. So I was intrigued. I think at the end of the teaser, I had more questions obviously than answers. I was hoping for more. Like just more answers, because there's been a lot of like clues from last year in the teaser trailer. Liara, when is it set? How is it going to link to Andromeda? So I enjoyed it, but also a small part of me was a little disappointed and was kind of hoping to see more. But I like the aesthetic of the new character. I like the style. I'm totally down for the style of it. It very, very swish, very cool looking, and I'm very intrigued So yeah, that was my general thoughts on it, like in a nutshell.
In a nutshell.
Yeah.
Dante, how did you find N7 Day?
Pretty much the same. It's like, with the whole Dreadwolf thing coming out, they couldn't go too crazy, could they? So we got a very small tease, which kind of added to last year's, but I can still see fans still dissecting it for months to come. So, yeah, lots more questions raised as well, and just theories popping around in the head. It's like we're doing most of the work for them. To be fair.
Yeah, we're doing all their advertising just on Twitter. Yes.
But yeah, so there wasn't super much there, but I can kind of understand why it feels almost too early to even get this much, because it's like, oh, come on, you're going to be winding people up. They want to know if Shepard's the main character or not, or if someone else is going off and blah blah blah. And yeah, we're getting little bits of all sorts that are just making us go, how could that happen then? Let's think up this plot point. Let's think up that. So interesting, but yeah.
Well, the Mass Effect community are very good at that.
Yes.
They went crazy at the ending of Mass Effect 3, with everything. So
I know they run the risk again. They run the risk again of like making things, hyping it up too much and coming up with possibly better ideas than what BioWare actually end with. So we'll see what happens.
Let's hope not.
Okay, Craig, what was your initial thoughts?
Well, actually, I was very happy, to be honest. I've got to be honest, it might have just been the American time zone, but I was sort of forgetting that there was such a time difference, and I was starting to think that the day was just going by and we weren't going to have anything.
Yes.
So when we had that, I was like, oh my God. Like,
I forgot N7 Day?
No. I knew.
Have the Americans not woken up yet?
Oh, right. They forgot. Yeah. It did seem like to me that they had. Yeah. It was so weird. But like, it was almost like me and Tim, we bounced so back and forth between like the crazy extreme of nothing happening and the extreme of like everything happening. And I think in a nice way, it was something in between. Like it was that vague trailer that I was actually, it wasn't on my top 3 things predictions, but it was there, like something vague, but it's a trailer. And it was like, it was a lot, but it was also wasn't very much. And I think it was the perfect balance.
Good. I was, for me, it was a little underwhelming. I think I was expecting a bit more, but I suppose it's kind of understandable with the main focus being on Dreadwolf at the minute. I should imagine they really got a small team on Mass Effect, and then obviously doing the N7 Day stuff is going to take them away from actually making the game to make trailers and stuff for N7 Day. So I should imagine it's even a smaller team that's doing the teaser stuff. So, but yeah, I mean, it is what it is, isn't it? So it'll, like Dante said, that we'll have people speculating and ripping it apart for the next few months now, and trying to find every small micro detail that
conspiracies.
Yeah, they will.
So that's it. That's Shepard, right? That little pixel right at the back there. That's an N7 helmet. That's Shepard.
Yep.
So, Hollywood Guy has a question. Hello, Hollywood Guy. I did have a question. How is the Endgame with the Geth? Is the timeline in the far future or just after Mass Effect 3? And was that Garrus in the poster?
Yeah, these questions have been popping up a lot.
Yes, they really have. Who wants to answer that one?
The poster. Do you want to look at the poster?
Yes, let's bring the poster up and pick it apart.
No, that's the wrong one. Dante,
just quickly, do you want to move your mic a bit closer to your mouth?
Am I too quiet?
Yes, you are. Thank you.
I am a quiet one. Well, I think with the Garrus one, that might be the quicker one to answer out of the two. Because there he is, next to the Hannah, off on the right.
It really does look like the eyepiece.
Yeah, most people go for the eyepiece because it's on the same left side, it's the same shape and all that.
Yeah.
Pretty much same armor from as far as I can tell. It's like, why is it just concept art?
Same toilet bowl.
Yeah.
Toilet bowl,
But Garrus isn't the only Taurian to have war and eye piece. It doesn't mean it's necessarily Garrus. Like Vetra obviously wore
Vetra's
an
the
eye
only
piece,
other one I remember.
you know. Yeah, I will say that they usually have like main character, like a companion wearing something cool. I don't remember seeing many Taurians like outside of your companions wearing an eye piece.
And you know,
so maybe it's Garrus, maybe it's a new companion, possibly. I'd love it to be Garrus, of course. I want to sit at that bar with Garrus, obviously, and get a cocktail.
The layman answer is it's just concept art, it doesn't matter. But no, they're surely, you know, they've got some thought behind it, surely. We'd all be going, is that Garrus? Is that Garrus?
It feels purposeful to me. Like, why would you place a character in that pose that very clearly looks like Garrus? You're going to get people speculating. You're going to get people freaking out and making assumptions that it's Garrus. It just seems very purposeful. You know, I don't know whether it's trying to trick us, you know, and I hope not. But what do you guys think?
How long do Taurians live for?
Good question.
They weren't too far one way or the other from humans, were they?
I think they were quite similar. Let me
Google it. Because Asari and Krogan were the longest.
Yeah.
Solarians the shortest. And then
I
feel like the Taurians weren't that far off humans.
Because it's just they gave a date as well. There was a tease about like a transmission or a distress signal from Andromeda, and it's
150 years they live to be lifespan. 150 years, so a bit more than humans.
Humans did maxed out at 110, wasn't it?
You're right, Craig. Yeah.
But I suppose in the same sense, though, it still took the Andromeda colonists like 600 years to get there. So it's really hard for me, at least, to believe that that's Garrus, because when they sent the signal, I can't remember what it was, but I think it was when Arc Natanus and a few of the other non-human arcs made it to Andromeda. So it to me, it just sounds like it's not really plausible that it could be. I mean, unless time travel's involved or something, but it's like the distress signal to me hints that that's the plot point. If there's a distress signal, that feels like that's a major plot point in the story to me. Like, I don't know.
And where's the distress signal come from? Is this a distress signal from, say, the Quarian arc? Possibly. That was kind of detected really at the end of Andromeda. And obviously there was planning to do DLC for it, weren't they? And that obviously didn't manifest. And then they did a book based on it.
Yes. I really need to finish that book.
Yes. So, I mean, obviously, it begs the question as well. If you're sending a signal from Andromeda in the future, and we are set in the Milky Way in a galaxy, like not far after the end of the trilogy, or like 100 years or 50 years or whatever, how do you get that signal from the future? Unless you've got some kind of like time space wormholes, I don't know, or something. Maybe dark matter's involved, I don't know. Like,
could it be that once the Nexus is powered up with all the arcs, it turns into a relay?
Maybe. Didn't Meridian have some sort of relay on it? Oh, I can't remember now. It's been a while since I finished on Andromeda.
Even if it didn't, like, there's a lot of, we don't understand, like, we understand next to nothing, don't we, about the remnant technology, do we? So
I mean, we obviously we learn about the Jardan, you know, and obviously they created the Angarans and the remnant tech and everything in Andromeda.
I don't remember that part. I mean, I know of the Jardan. Was it all in the main story, or was most of the Jardan's information in the Codex?
I think there was more in the Codex, but I remember it being sort of discovered through the story, from what I remember. But I'm a lore queen, so I read all the codexes and love them. But it's been a long time since I've read them, so I'm a little sketchy, I will admit, and probably will have to redo my research again before doing a video on that kind of thing.
Everyone's going to have to play Andromeda again. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's what's going to happen.
It's all right, because when Tim finally gets to the end of it, he can just refresh us.
Yeah.
That's very true. I am playing now. It broke me. Andromeda broke me.
Oh
dear, that's not good.
I used to play a game and I'd play it through to completion before I moved on to the next one, and it got to Andromeda, and I was pretty burnt out on the trilogy at that point because I just replayed it in preparation.
Okay.
And then, of course, it came out and it was all buggy and it was crashing. And I thought, you know what? I want a break anyway, so I'll leave it and I'll come back when they fixed all the bugs. And then from that point on, I've been like, if I'm, starting to get a bit bored, or I think, I'll play something else, I've kind of left the game that I'm playing and I'll play something else, and then I'll leave that and I'll play something else, and I just don't seem to finish games anymore. So
it does very much have that kind of Inquisition thing, though, doesn't it? Like it feels like the Inquisition of Mass Effect, where there's just so many fetch quests that like it can really just
that went in my review. Yeah, having to go from planet to planet. Go over here and then get this, and then go over there and get this. Yes, definitely.
Control says, unless Garrus lived 600 years after Mass Effect 3, he can't be in the same place as the Angaran.
Time travel.
It's the Angaran. It's the Angaran in the concept art. That is what really throws it into question, because obviously the Angaran are known in the Andromeda galaxy. So if this is set in the Milky Way galaxy, did the Jardan create Angara in other regions of space, in other galaxies, and this is in the Milky Way, or has he come from the Andromeda galaxy, or is this actually like in the Andromeda galaxy? Because you have Geth there as well, and can we say a Geth in very chic clothing? Like a Geth wearing clothing, which seems to like almost like imply that they've assimilated into society. I don't know. That's what I'm wondering. Like someone tweeted. Yeah, which also may well imply that they haven't gone with. Well, they could have survived the destroy, obviously ending, but obviously the whole thing with the destroy is that it would destroy all synthetic life. So if there's a Geth around, does that imply that they've not gone for a canon ending and they're just trying to forget that ever happened, and move past it, or have they survived somehow? Possibly, uploaded their consciousness elsewhere and rebuilt their bodies or structures or whatever. But it's the fact he's wearing clothing. Like this is why it's clearly set in the future. But like stuff has happened very clearly to Geth society. And I think someone tweeted that the Asari here in the middle is Liara with her Geth bodyguard. And Mike Gamble liked that tweet. I mean, he likes a lot of tweets, let's just say. But I don't know. And then I think Ali Hillis was like to the new commander, she was like, interesting. And then I was like, interesting in what way? Give me more. I want to know more.
He does look like he's stood there like a bodyguard, and if that is,
he does, yeah. His body, but I mean, he's a Geth, obviously Geth, except for Legion with his robot dance. But like the Geth generally, like not very like.
He could even be the other voice from last year's like discussion with Liara, couldn't it?
Yeah. And obviously, this is the Angaran here talking to them, and he seems to be leaning forward, like
to the Shadow Broker.
Who knows? A lot of people have been speculating, is this Arya? I don't think this is Arya.
No,
it's definitely
not flashy enough.
It doesn't look like her. It's not her style. What she's wearing is not Arya's style.
I think Arya is more sort of a pinkish purplish as well, rather than
definitely it's a blue hue. I'd say it's better chance that it is Liara. If it is, I don't know. I'm speculating, of course. But clearly there's two drinks here, as if to imply some kind of meeting or business meeting, or is she still shadow brokering? Or is it the redacted, whatever the redacted is that we still don't know. So,
I mean, she could be the new
bartender. What a letdown! Oh.
Can you imagine Liara behind the bar? Oh dear.
Like
Poor
a mum.
Liara. That's only maidens. She's probably at least a matriarch by now. I don't know. A matron. Go on.
That could be it, though.
I mean, she could be the new Arya, and like this is her club, and people come to see her.
See, don't you think that's a bit of a downgrade though for Liara after being the shadow broker and
Yeah, but if she's in
like Arya's like
in Andromeda,
mafia.
she's not going to have a network of spies and technology and resources, is she?
Don't know.
She's going to be a nobody.
I can't ever imagine Liara being a nobody. I can't ever imagine that. I wonder if she would go back to her. Maybe I wonder if she would go back to her roots, like as an
archaeologist.
An archaeologist.
Did you
think no?
Did you guys hear the theory about Liara? Because this is a really wild one, but you can see another Asari to like the further left.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, lower down at the bottom.
At the bottom here, yeah. Which I mean, the dress is very because she's wore a dress like this. And then I think even in the concept art, there was an Asari that had this kind of like ilium dress, that they wear with the long. So it's possible.
And someone also apparently theorized that guy was the elusive man, which I don't.
No,
I don't want to believe that, to be honest.
No, unless he had a clone. Unless he had a clone made of himself, which I wouldn't put past him, to be fair.
That's how Garrus is there. We clone Garrus.
Cerberus is an idea, and that idea is not so easily destroyed.
Exactly. So
is anyone going to explain why the Hana has like sweatbands on?
Sweatbands?
What are you talking about?
Next to Garrus.
Oh, on their arms, you mean?
He's got little sweatbands on.
Sweatbands. Jewelry. Sweatbands. It's come from the gym.
This one has been pumping iron.
This one has been pumping iron. This one needs a drink. No.
And then the Gef's all like, has this unit been naked all this time? Get me a coat. And that's why he's wearing clothes now. They've all become self-aware.
This one has been arm wrestling the Enkindlers.
My gods are real.
Oh, dear me. A collector at the bar.
A collector at the bar. Where's the bar? That one.
I don't think that's a collector. I think that's there's a
chunky Solarian.
Yeah. What are they called? There's like a race of Solarians that are quite. They were like breeded with.
There was
Trogan, right? Like they
Trax,
were.
Wasn't there? He was a bounty hunter.
Yes.
Trax.
In the comics, was it?
Yeah.
When they were recovering Shepard's body or something, right?
Yeah.
Yes, that's right. He was involved. He was in the comic with Liara. Oh God! If I put in buff Solarian, will he come up?
Don't look at the pictures.
Oh dear. Maybe it's not safe. Let's have a look.
Do you think that's why the Hanas train it so he can beat that tough Solarian like a vet?
There's some really weird fan art. That's all I'm gonna say. Oh dear God.
I think Hollywood guy meant this one here, actually.
This one here? I'm not sure. It's hard to see, isn't it?
He looks really confident, doesn't he? With his stance, he looks.
Yeah.
Oh, is he? I would only just noticed in the background. It's very red, but it's like talking to a bartender there. I thought it was just more the pattern, but that's a Solarian bartender, maybe.
I mean,
it's hard to see.
Oh, I didn't see that actually. Yeah,
there's definitely, or maybe a hologram, some kind of AR hologram, or because there's a few of them, isn't there?
Oh, races that
these
are
things.
like digital.
Yeah, like digital kind of like here, the red. You can't see what I'm doing, but yeah. Moving
Well,
over the
I thought
can't see what I'm doing, but you know.
I thought the rest was just like some jellyfish like on a screen kind of thing, like but because of the lighting, it's been backlit.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna throw an idea out here, like that strange creature between the guy and the Asari.
Yeah.
Well, but also that one over there, I guess, as well, that we kind of speculated to be a different kind of Solarian. Like, I mean, it could be a new race entirely.
It could. That's yeah, I could see them introducing new races. I think that would be good for the series to introduce some new races. That I really enjoyed the Angaran, and I really enjoyed like the first time we went onto their home planet and kind of got to learn about them through Jal. I really liked that. And I wanted more of that, you know, in Andromeda. I didn't feel there was enough new races in Andromeda.
Yes.
Only the Angaran and the Ket, right? Which the Ket, you know, we know all that anyway. I'm not going to say any more, but like, yeah, I wanted more races, new races. That kind of like discovery that we got in Mass Effect 1, where every person we met was a new race and we were discovering all about them, and I really enjoyed that in Mass Effect 1, and I wanted more of that in Andromeda. I didn't feel that we got enough of it, so I would like that in the trilogy, some new races, especially if we are merging the galaxies or going to a new galaxy. I don't know, or an in-between galaxy. I don't know. Maybe not. I don't know, but I would like more races for sure.
I was getting some like Star Trek vibes off a few of them going. It's like, oh, they look mostly human. However, they'll either have like face markings or some other little bits or
and we're seeing
heads.
most of them from the back, except for a couple of races. So it's a little bit tricky to see sometimes from the angle.
Maybe that's what we've been missing. Maybe that's what we've been missing. None of them have faces. That's the plot. Everyone's face is just gone.
No mirrors.
The next N7 commander just hunting down all the missing faces in the galaxy.
It would make customization easier, wouldn't it?
Yes.
Oh, you thought that was a helmet? Nope. that's a head.
SCR says, I think you can't capture that feeling anymore in the next games. Why do you think that? Because you already know the universe.
You already know the universe. That's I mean, yeah. I mean, if they do obviously. But they have said they're going to explore new regions of space, new adventures. I don't know. I would imagine, I don't know, like if they're gonna just, and I don't feel like we explored everywhere in the trilogy.
No.
I think there's still a lot of planets.
Both galaxies had a lot of uncovered ground.
Different races.
The problem they've got is the ending, really, because no matter what they choose, they're going to upset somebody. So it makes sense to move everything to Andromeda, because then you can just negate the ending and not actually upset anybody, can you?
But I also think people do want to see the state of the Milky Way galaxy after the trilogy. I do think that the original trilogy didn't have that kind of like what's the word, like closure. Thank you. Didn't have that sense of closure, that kind of wanting to. They had the epilogues, which they put into the extended edition. They didn't originally have those, right? Like, so when it ended, I was like, what the hell? Like, what's going on? Where is everybody? Have I just killed everyone? Like, literally. I freaked out. Like, you remember Dante, right? When I played the ending, I was like,
you were not happy. You were not a happy bunny.
I was really quite emotional about it. They definitely improved it with the extended edition, but I still think for a lot of people, like, they want to, they're so, it's tricky, right? Because you are right, they have written themselves into a corner, most definitely. Same way they did with Deus Ex Human Revolution, right? Like, they wrote themselves into a corner with the endings, and then they just kind of like were like, oh, they're all kind of true, like for the Mankind Divided. So I don't know if they're just going to kind of gloss over it. And that would make sense why it is set so many years in future. But I don't know if they're going to go straight to the Andromeda Galaxy or if they're going to eventually make that connection in some way with the Andromeda Galaxy, maybe start in the Milky Way Galaxy where you get to see the state of the galaxy. Because obviously in the blog post that we got from Mike Gamble, he was saying, like, you will get answers to all your questions, like what happened to your favorite characters, who was actually dead, who had babies, like where is S, right? Like, you know, whatever. What happened to S? I think he said, which was clearly a reference to Shepard, because everybody's wants to know what happened with Shepard, right? Like,
what does a baby vulture sound like? I think
exactly,
was one as well.
exactly. So I don't know if he was just like telling us what we wanted to hear, but I get the sense of, and I don't know if we will find the answers to these questions in the game, or if it will just be like some kind of codex entry where it's like set many hundreds of years later and you just read about what happened after the end of the war. Or maybe they'll reveal it in like reveal trailers or something like that, right? I don't like in the lead up to the next game, they might fill in some of the gaps through like marketing and advertising, possibly, who knows. But he did say we would get some form of closure, and I think that's what the community needs, because I think a lot of people that went into Andromeda were maybe missing that. And I enjoyed Andromeda, don't get me wrong, there were parts of it that I really did enjoy, but I think the biggest issue it had was that like people hadn't let go of the trilogy, if that makes sense, because they hadn't had that closure that they needed. Had they had that closure, I think people would have been like, I'm ready for a new adventure, let's go to a new galaxy, meet new people. And had they had that, but they didn't have that, and they just sort of like, okay, we're going to take you into a completely new galaxy where we don't have to deal with any of the choices or consequences or endings that we made in the trilogy. New characters, new galaxy, let's go. And they were expecting people to connect to it straight away, and obviously a lot of people didn't.
I have to ask though, like, how do you define closure? Because I thought the Citadel DLC kind of did that.
Yeah, well, the Citadel DLC obviously came after. I think it even came after the extended edition. And for me, the Citadel DLC for me was BioWare's way of saying, we got you. Sorry. Like, here's this amazing DLC where you get to spend time with these companions that you love so much. So yes, depending on when you play the Citadel DLC, you may feel that you get that sense of closure, but that DLC didn't come until like way after the original ending. And the, you know, if you get to play it now in the Legendary Edition and you got to play that with all the DLC, you got the best experience, I would say.
Yeah.
And you probably feel more of a sense of closure. But for a lot of people that played it when it came out at the time, they didn't have that, and they still remember that, I feel.
Yeah. And I can imagine as well.
Disappointment.
Yeah, that kind of, I've heard so many people that were so disappointed with the ending they didn't even bother coming back for the DLC. So
which is such a shame, because the DLCs are great. They're fantastic, especially the Citadel DLC. I loved it. Absolutely loved it. I even did a playthrough of it, I think, like a let's. It was my very first let's play, I think, on the channel. Like, I literally at the time I was teaching at a school in Japan, and I borrowed their camcorder to record my camera reactions to it, and sat in this tiny chair with like a microphone, like recording my very first let's play, and did a review of it and everything. Yeah, it was great. Oh, hey, Carla. Carla's in the chat, by the way.
Hi, Carla.
So yes.
I'm going to quickly interrupt you because Dorita's comment is covering up Dante. So,
oh, right. Okay.
he is here. But hello, Carla. Thank you for joining. I'm assuming this is what they mean about the snake in the boot, because I can't see any other.
Yeah, lizard face. They're saying, but
face. I'm assuming that's like supposed to be the eye, is it?
On the poster, if you really zoom in.
I'm not quite sure. I think it might just be.
I can't see. You're so channeling Mark me right now, Dante. It's funny. I can't see anything.
See that face on Mars? No.
Do you think it's like, I don't know, you can't see much? Can you see my mouse?
Yeah, I can't see your mouse.
Yeah, we can see yours, guys. So.
I'm thinking, is it like that the mouse and that the eye? I'm not quite sure. Yeah, that's the
yeah. Later, stick it in one of those Photoshop mods to reverse the colors or something. See if you can see something better. But it just looks like
I think it's
folded
more
material.
Style than. Yeah, I personally don't see it myself personally.
I want to believe in lizard face.
Can you unplug your headset, Dante?
What have I got buzzing?
A little tiny bit, and it's like it's catching on your thing. So thank you.
Sorry. We'll see how long it lasts because it was beeping.
This is live.
I will be right back, guys. I'll be like 1 minute.
Okie dokie. Yeah, I can't see the face, honestly. Oh, we've got a few people from my community. Hey, AJ, how's it going?
Hello, AJ. Space Ghost, nice to see you.
Thank you for joining.
Did like Carla's video pointing out that the Renegade and the Paragon coming back.
Yep. I never noticed about the actual Paragon shape until she mentioned it, and I'm like, oh yeah, of course. But you can obviously tell with the color scheme, the blue and the red. The
way that they got the tail pins on there. I thought that was very well done.
What's your view on? Would you like to see Paragon and Renegade back in the next Mass Effect? What did you think of what they did in Andromeda and how they kind of changed it?
I'm glad to see it back because it gives you a chance to shape your character, but it needs to be improved because otherwise if you want to go Renegade, you're literally just picking all the Renegade options and that's it.
Yep.
You're kind of limiting yourself to your role.
And sometimes you do stupid stuff. Like you make like dumb decisions. It's like, why would you make dumb decisions? Where did Dante go? He just disappeared. He just vanished. Okay.
One's leaving us.
I have no idea. Hopefully he'll rejoin. Yeah, I agree with you. Like, what happened there?
I was just scrolling down the chat and I think I must have held down one of the wrong buttons and it just went, nah, you're going elsewhere now. I'm like, what? No, go back.
Peace out. Yeah, I agree with you. I really like the Paragon and Renegade interrupts though, but I like not knowing what's going to happen. Like I didn't like them in Andromeda because they kind of gave you a little bit of a prompt and a bit of an indicator as to what's going to happen, and I like just not knowing and then being surprised, or delighted by whatever's going to happen. So I would be happy to see them back in the next Mass Effect.
I think what they probably should do is like give you like speech points or something so that you get like 2 points for a Paragon, 2 points for a Renegade, and 1 point for a neutral. And then that way, if you want to go for the neutral, you're still gaining your Paragon and Renegade attribute. The point obviously it won't go as quickly. The neutral 1 point will go into both slots. So that way you can mix up your answers a bit and not.
Yep. Yeah, because you had to go down one route or the other to get all the kind of dialogue options and dialogue choices, right?
Yeah, if you wanted to do speech checks, wasn't there? And I think they made it a bit easier in Legendary Edition, but.
Yeah, I kind of like them to do like what they're doing in Baldur's Gate 3 and what they do even with Starfield, where like you've got backgrounds and then you pick your background or whatever, and then that gives you unique dialogue choices. And and I'd like more of that in the next Mass Effect. I'd like more flavor for your class or your background that you pick. I'd like to see more of that in the next Mass Effect. I'd like to see him incorporate like elements of Baldur's Gate 3 and even bits of Starfield into the next Mass Effect.
Jeremy says Jeremy says the reputation in Mass Effect 3 was almost there.
Almost there. What does that mean?
Well, I mean, almost where you didn't have to choose one or the other.
Right.
You kind of just built your bar up and and up and down. Sorry, Craig, what was you going to say?
I was just going to say I do love that idea about like origins and having that affect like dialogue and stuff. But I'm almost worried that they're going the opposite direction because of how people are speculating. The people are now talking about a tweet that was from like 2 years ago now as well, which is a bit strange. But I think people are rethinking it because of the trailer, the footage that we got this year. There was a tweet where they referred to the viewers or the players as agents.
I did see that. Erdnot Rex retweeted that, didn't he?
Yeah. And it made me think, are we going to be kind of thrust into just being one thing? Like you see the trench coat as well and think we're
a secret agent, the N7 agent. Yeah, because they did the same, I think, with Andromeda, didn't they? Call everybody Pathfinder in Andromeda, right?
Yeah.
And Commander in the original trilogy, I think, or Commanders or whatever. I quite dig. I would be up for that though. I think it would be interesting to play like a bit of a grayer character. I'm all down for like playing a bit of I don't know how it would work with all the classes, of course, right? But I like the idea of playing like a special agent and not someone like Shepard that's like very clearly like military leader, like, you know what I mean? I quite dig that. I quite like that idea. I like the aesthetic. I think it's kind of cool. It's got like a bit of a cyberpunk futuristic vibe to it.
But all of a sudden, then it kind of doesn't it eliminate the possibility of me being able to charge at people? Because like, what kind of agent has that kind of, that's not exactly the most subtle way an agent would fight, is it? Just ramming into people.
If it goes horribly wrong, maybe.
If you get spotted, then fair game.
Yeah. That's it, isn't it? I mean, you've got to make obviously a character. I mean, I don't know if they're going to go back to the original class systems that they had in the trilogy, or if they're going to do a little bit of what they did in Andromeda, where you could make a little bit more of a hybrid class and you could really pick and choose the abilities that you wanted, and classes weren't really as much of a thing, more specialisms and profiles, which I quite liked because it allowed to really experiment with it. I did think it was overpowered, and I do like the original classes and I do like the idea of specializing in it, but also I don't know, like I enjoyed the jetpack and I enjoyed the combat in Andromeda quite a lot, and I don't know if part of that was just because of the jetpack and the verticality of combat, or because of the freedom that you had with powers. I'm not sure. But you didn't really feel like a specialist. You felt like a little bit like
jack of all trades. I don't like the profile switching thing. I think it breaks law.
Yeah.
You'd be a soldier and then all of a sudden you've got biotic powers. It's like, how does that work? But
it also
blame it on Sam. No. I don't know if you can get away with that for every explanation. Really,
they might. Yeah, well, that's how they justified it, isn't it? Because obviously Sam was connected to Ryder, and that gave them
and they kind of made their mother had the whole biotic link because she was like with the EZO and all that, and so since she had them in the womb at the time, that's how they got the biotic side. If you happen to choose that.
Yeah, forget all the things you know about amps and
you're right. It and I think that was more them trying to appeal to I don't know whether it was a broader
all the things.
I'm thinking about it. I do prefer the specialisms, and I have said that before. I think I said that on our last multiplayer stream, that I definitely prefer the class system of the trilogy, and it's better for replay value. Like as well, like to go back and play as a different class and role play in a different way.
So are we saying? Sorry,
I was just say people's attention spans are they're too short these days, aren't they? They don't want to go back and replay games. They want to play it once and that's it. They're moving straight on to the next thing. See.
God, I've lost count of the amount of times I've replayed the Mass Effect trilogy. Honestly, ridiculous amount. I've only played Andromeda, I think twice. That's it. But I've played the original trilogy an obscene amount of times since it first came out.
And I keep choosing Infiltrator. I will choose it again. Especially if you are Secret Agent style.
I played all the classes, I think. I love them. They're all very different.
Well, with the helmet and the cloak on... Oh, sorry, I was going to say, like, with the helmet and the cloak and that, it looks like the Slayer from the Mass Effect multiplayer. But I think there's a lot of Rio de Janeiro kind of, like, N7 school stuff in this. And, like, even down to, like, the gun with the silencer. It's like, yeah, this feels like we've half seen bits of this from, like, the multiplayer and other special editions and that. Or they just look like one half of Daft Punk, I think. But
yeah, that helmet is very Daft Punk, isn't it? Yeah, definite.
And I'm sure they just made the coat to sell it in the store.
I still don't think this is the hero. I think this is the antagonist. I think there's an N7 gone rogue.
Agree.
Yeah.
I said that, like when we did our discussion and we're chatting with Carla and Ash, and everyone was like, "This is the protagonist." I'm like, I don't know. I don't get. And one of the reasons is you don't see their face, right? Like at all. And for me, that is a big thing. If you look back through the history of BioWare, they have always shown the face of the main protagonist, and there've been the odd occasion when they haven't shown the face, and it's been a little bit of a trick, right? Like, because you got to see Shepard's face in the trailers, like, okay, you're paying as Commander Shepard, right? Male or female. In Andromeda, they started off advertising and showing Alec Ryder and promoting N7. So you thought, oh, right, we're playing as another N7, but actually you didn't. You then played as Sarah and Scott, and they showed Sarah and Scott's face in the trailers. I don't think we're playing as this character. I think we're playing as another character. I think it will be a fully customizable character that we will create for ourselves. I don't think we're going to play as Liara all the way through. BioWare have always been about creating your own character in the world. So I think they will do that, but I really don't get. I mean, when you look at the trailer and then they look back. Some people are saying it's possibly a Krogan at the beginning of it. It's the sass of the turn back and the confidence of like, right, we're going to go and kill someone now, like like assassin or whatever. It's just very. It gives me very Kai Leng vibes. That's what I get with the vibe of it, the style of it.
Well. He was an N7, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Before he...
I'd love a rogue N7. Wouldn't it be interesting if we did actually play as an antagonist rather than as a hero?
Or you're at least up to mischief.
Yeah.
There was a comparison video though that came out. It did show Shepard's face, but then there was another one which it was like there were 3 screens comparing 3 different trailers. There was Shepard, I think, from Mass Effect 3, and then there was Ryder, which we just saw the helmet. So in one of the Mass Effect Andromeda, I haven't actually seen the Andromeda trailers all the way through, but in that Andromeda trailer, they didn't show Ryder's face.
Do you mean the blue and white one? But don't we see their eyes through the visor? I can't remember. It's been so long ago since I watched the trailer. Because they first showed the initial teaser trailer for Andromeda was an N7 with clear, like the back of the N7 helmet, and he was scanning through and showing planets. And then he turns to the camera, takes out his gun, and just walks towards the camera. And that was Alec Ryder, who we don't play as.
Like, but we don't see Alec Ryder's face though, do we? It's just a helmet.
No, we're just the helmet. We just see the helmet. We never see his face. Because Alex Ryder's face could be anything, depending on the character that you obviously create.
Yeah. But it could be this could be a similar case here, and that's why they're wearing the helmet, because it's the player's projection.
Oh, like looking at his character?
No, I just mean like they don't want to show the face of whoever this character is because it could be whatever you customize this character to be.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. Like it could be any number of reasons, but
could be anything. We have no idea. That's the thing.
It's Alec Ryder's wife unfrozen. She's come back for revenge.
Well, it's clearly a female character, isn't it? It's very clearly a female character. just with the gait, the walk, the style, That's why I was initially, when I saw the N7, I thought, oh my God, am I going to hear Jennifer Hale's voice? I'm going to cry. I'm going to cry if I hear Jennifer Hale's voice. And we didn't, which disappointed me.
And then the myth off all the Mark helpers.
No, Mark Mir, bless him. I love him to bits. He's amazing. But in the original trilogy, Jen did not get enough love.
No, not until
she
the
did
third,
not
and then
until
only
the
just.
third game, and then only just, and it was only in like the Legendary Edition that she really got like the attention she deserved. So Jen is owed. I'm just saying, she's got love, of course, and Mark Mir is amazing and did a great job. But I'm sure he wouldn't mind sharing his spotlight.
I do prefer Jennifer Hale's.
Me too. Me too.
I've got questions about this trailer.
Go on.
It's not even a trailer, but when they were like doing all the breadcrumbs and hints for like getting bits of this, and the last one was like saying that what was it like intruder alert style thing or contact alliance?
Contact alliance, security breach.
Yeah,
security
that's it.
Breach.
So are we to assume they're breaching security? Alliance. They're not supposed to do that kind of thing.
Yeah, I would think so. Which makes me, so they're clearly breaking into.
So then it must be an alliance. Yeah, but like earlier, like a little bit back, they passed some canisters, and I swear down, they look like the energy cells for an Atlas Cerberus colors and everything. It's got like the little yellow stripe.
Do you know what? Also, at the risk of a copyright strike, right? You can kind of hear Cerberus-like music playing in the background.
Really?
That trailer.
I could hear the Eden Prime music.
I thought they did like a blend.
They did a blend. It was like a blend of. It definitely had some Andromeda elements and some Legendary Edition elements. But I'm intrigued. If I'm gonna have to listen like with a fine tooth comb. That doesn't work. But I'm gonna have to really listen carefully.
Can you hear the music?
Yes.
To me, that sounds
a little.
It does sound.
That's why it gave me like antagonist vibes. Maybe it was the music that was subconsciously working something.
There was another creator that did a breakdown video, which kind of made sense as well with the Liara trailer that we got. It was blue. It was her colors, and it was all you kind of got the Paragon kind of feel to it.
Paragon colors, yeah. This is very Renegade.
This is very dark and Renegade, and there's reds and blacks in there. And
I think it was it Carla that mentioned that, or was it Ash? Maybe Lady Insanity, because I watched one of hers. Ash, Lady Insanity mentioned it, which was a really good point, actually. Yeah.
But the thing that really throws you off, though, the thing that really throws you off is the use of blue and red in the poster. Makes you think Paragon Renegade. So are they really all bad if you've got the blue in there as well?
Well, that's it though. They might be going for more of a grey character. It can be a bit of both.
I think they're up to something that's a bit cheeky. The Alliance wouldn't like it, but you're still doing it for the good of the land, like kind of thing. Maybe getting hold of time travel technology and legging it to Andromeda or something like that. I don't know, but
in the actual because in the snippets and the breakdowns, obviously, of these transmissions, there was even one of them which was the first one, I think it was, and when it was initially come through, it said access code Epsilon, which was the very first, short clip on it. It obviously said Andromeda distress signal detected, and then it had the audio transcript, although they should know by now not to underestimate human defiance, which is obviously what Liara says in last year's teaser. So maybe this is a base near to, or they're investigating potentially that new what we not sure is a mass relay or not. We don't yet know what that tech
the
is.
Cerberus-looking one.
Yeah, the Cerberus-looking one. So that could be, I mean, and obviously it was Systems Alliance footage of that. So this may well be, I don't know, following breadcrumbs or trying to find out where that's hidden or where that's kept or who knows.
Like this agent could be the reason for the distress signal.
Maybe,
like
I don't know. Yeah.
Somebody sent to assassinate somebody on Andromeda. Like that would, I don't know. Can you see a possibility where like this agent's been sent to, I don't know, assassinate Ryder, or
Liara?
Or yeah, wow, that would be a hell of a twist.
It could be hunting down Liara. Could be hunting down Liara.
So like it's a save Liara, protect Liara type situation.
Possibly.
So that's why she's gone to Andromeda, to be protected.
Doubt that. Well, that's why she might have a Geth bodyguard. Possibly.
Very true. Yeah, that's a good point.
I thought the distress signal was like from the Quarian arc or something like that.
Well, it says from Andromeda, doesn't it? Andromeda distress signal. It doesn't say what the origin is. Like, you know, I mean, I would think it would be the Quarian arc, but and we don't see in the art, we don't see like, I don't think I noticed any like Elcor, and there weren't many Batarians, and a lot of them were on the Quarian arc. I think some of those races.
Vorcha as well, maybe.
Yeah, and the Vorcha. We don't see any of those in the art. And there was an outbreak with the Quarian arc. That's why they're sending a distress signal. There was an outbreak and then went back into cryo. It's a whole thing. Read the book. It's very good. But yes, so maybe the distress signal is from the Quarian arc. I don't know.
Do you think there's a possibility that they're mentioning that there's a distress signal, but it doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to Andromeda? Like it could be one of those situations where it just says all these people are in danger. Something really bad happened in Andromeda, and now people are evacuating Andromeda, coming back to the Milky Way, and whatever they're running from is chasing them. I mean, I don't know how this
got a bit rowdy then.
Could be the Scourge. You don't know, do you? Obviously, there is a lot of theory about dark energy, and that they're going to go down that route, and then that's how they're going to connect potentially Andromeda to the Milky Way, because that was the original theory, wasn't it? You know, by Drew Karpyshyn, which was that the Reapers were actually the whole reason for it was to basically stop the spread of dark energy. And I think the ultimate choice was that, like, you know, with them creating that human Reaper in Mass Effect 2, that was like, you basically had to make a choice, I think, at the end of Mass Effect 3, which was like save humanity or sacrifice humanity to stop the spread of dark energy. I think that was the original. Like, that obviously it didn't happen. Obviously, they went in a completely different direction. But that was one of the storylines, I think, that they were possibly. And obviously you had Hailstrom with Tally, you know, that mission with Tally where the sun is
toasty.
Yeah, dying quickly.
Toasty is an understatement, Dante, but yes, toasty, very toasty. Singe your flesh off, toasty. Yes, 100%.
My shields.
But yeah, there were so many threads that they didn't continue with in Mass Effect 3. So, you know, maybe I don't know.
To be honest, I think that'd be a really cool way to bring dark energy back into it. Like if it wasn't like a physical enemy, but it was still something you had to figure out a solution to. And also, it doesn't necessarily have to be the only crux of the story. That could be a plot device that brings some of the Angaran and some of the Andromeda characters to the Milky Way. But it doesn't mean that that's the main villain of the story. It could be this agent or something that's doing something or another, and the dark energy is what's brought people from Andromeda.
Possibly.
I don't know.
Could also be like a way to connect to like the remnant tech and the Jardan and the technologically advanced species. See if they can use that terraforming technology, that kind of as a way to repopulate or like stop that spread. I don't know. I'm speculating, obviously. None of this is known, but I would like them to. The more I looked into dark energy, the more interested in it I was, and it's a cool idea, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah,
it also just makes the Reapers more. I don't know. It kind of makes them make a little bit more sense.
A little bit more sense than they did.
Yeah.
When you're talking to like the catalyst, like nothing you're saying makes sense, like at all. What do you mean? Synthetics and
To save you, we have to
organics
destroy you.
can't live together. I think you finally can, and I've proven it.
Yeah.
You Reapers don't know anything. You are built by squids. Massive squids.
I can't trust anything you say. Yes, I didn't like the catalyst, if you didn't know. But yeah, I would shoot him if it didn't get me the worst ending, like every time. To be fair, I love the fact that they added that in as an option. That wasn't an option before the extended cut. They added that in as an option.
I've seen.
Did you know
that
that before you did it? I used to shoot him all the time.
Did
and obviously didn't do anything.
Yeah, you're like, shut up. I refused. I think when I first did it, I'm like, I'm not doing it. I'm not picking it. Red, blue, and green. I'm not picking anything. I'm staying here. We can just infinitely fight. Our friend Edge actually never finished the game, did he? He refused.
Yeah,
He never actually
he heard
finished
so
it.
much about it. It's like, oh, I'm not finishing the game then.
Terrible. Such a shame.
Oh, jumping back to the trailer for a sec then. So in the background, right at the end when they do the turning, is that the same Mud Skipper spaceship from?
Oh, from the initial, the first trailer with Liara?
Yeah, you can kind of see it out in the hangar behind them. Totally. I totally think that ship's that.
Maybe.
And if it is, then that's kind of insinuating that, you with the good guy crew from the previous poster or whatever. And so
you actually might be with Liara then hunting her down.
So you could actually be like a shadow broker agent then. An N7 shadow broker agent.
I feel
that would be cool.
Yeah, that would be something like that.
At the same time, though, if you were approaching your allies in a ship, would you get your weapon out?
No, you wouldn't. You really wouldn't. That's a brilliant observation, Craig. You really wouldn't.
The Krogan before is also a bit of a mystery then, because like they're not kind of nodding to him and then going off.
The Krogan could be a bounty hunter. He could be a merc like Rex was.
Could just be betraying them. Oh no.
He could be like Rex was, because Rex was a bounty hunter.
The rest of the goody crew over there. Go get them out. I'm just going to say
there is more than one Krogan in the galaxy.
No, the Krogan was the lookout all along.
There might be other Krogan. There are good and bad Krogan equal.
Am I just blind? Because everyone talks about this Krogan, but I can't see them.
It's
right at the beginning, yeah.
Yeah, they've got the kind of almost.
I think it's a bit of a stretch myself. I can't see it being a Krogan.
They're kind of looking out the window with.
It's like behind you there. You see it? So it's got like a hump. It looks like a hump, and then a light on maybe on the back of the armor.
Yeah, they have those kind of light bits on the back of the.
See it?
But it just seems like a pillar to me.
That's what I thought.
It's there. It's there. I can't. I wish I could point it out to you. It's right there. It's right there.
I can see the light. I can see the light, but I just see a pillar.
Everything. Normal pillars don't have hubs.
We need full res frame by frame.
Res. That's it. We need HD for the trailer.
I can't see it. I can't see it.
Really? Right. Don't worry about it. I'm doing a video this weekend. I'll point it out to you then.
You might have to draw around it.
Exactly. I will do that. I'll zoom in slow motion.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Marker over your monitor.
Yes. Just here. Look at the hump. It's perfectly angled. Yep.
Oh yeah, I think Caged is right.
Yeah, Arlac Company, yeah. Which is Arlac is Krogan, right? Because that's Grunt, right?
Yeah, it's Grunts.
Yeah,
Grunts. Oh, I love that mission. Hint.
Grunt's company.
See?
That was it.
There's a Krogan. There's Aralact music and everything.
It's Grunt.
Maybe. I'd love Grunt in the next game. He could well be, even if it is like, because I worked it out, right? Like if it is actually 2819 when the next game is set, that's 633 years after the ending of Mass Effect 3, making Liara 742.
So in a matron years?
Matron years, I would
Matriarch years,
say.
not matron.
What years is
Matriarch.
matriarch? Because you have maiden then
700 to 1,000.
So she would be a matriarch then, wouldn't she?
So those complaining about
Rex
the wrinkles
wouldn't be around because he's still yeah.
She's
Hey,
looking good for
Asari look
700.
great for their age. Like Atheta, Benezia, Arya, they were all matriarchs and they look good for their age. So you can't tell. It's hard to tell with Asari. But yes. Yeah. So it could be. But Grunt could definitely be around, given Krogan lifespan. Rex wouldn't be if it was that far in the future. Rex would be gone. Garrus would be gone. Tally would be gone. All the human people that we know would be gone, of course. Shepard, we don't know. I mean, life expectancy, I think, for humans is like 110 or something like that. But Shepard, of course, due to the Lazarus Project, has so many cybernetic enhancements. You don't know what that's done to Shepard's lifespan. You have no idea.
I hope Shepard's only in it as like memorial stuff or like a news bulletin or
the VI.
We see grey-haired Shepard. That would be so weird because I'm used to my Shepard having red hair. Just a grey-haired Shepard somewhere, maybe on the Citadel, if the Citadel's still around, which it seems to be if the artwork is that we got released is anything to imply. I think there was like a Citadel promotional poster artwork stuff last year. I don't know if that is the new one though or not. I'm not sure. But yeah.
Okay.
I don't want to play as Shepard. Definitely not.
No. And I know people have said that they'd like him back as like a mentor thing, but to me that was my Shepard. And if I don't play as my Shepard, then it won't feel like my Shepard. Does that make sense? It'd be like I've kind of dipped into their life for a little bit and then I've come out and I'm playing somebody else and my Shepard it'd be a disconnect basically.
Yeah.
That's why I thought if you just have cameos like in news reports or the VI or something like that,
or
it's a kind of a little nod
like
to them.
That, where you can maybe, I don't know, connect with them.
They'd have to sneak in the character creator again as well, wouldn't they?
Well, the thing is with the Legendary Edition, with the now on multiple platforms now, that's a very definite possibility that they could read if it comes out on this current generation.
But then it's
no
just
idea
on
if that's going to be the
platform,
case, especially with the rumors going on at the moment of the release date and everything. But yeah, it could be doable. I mean, it's what they did with Hawk, isn't it? Where they had you create Hawk at the beginning of the game. It's like, oh, spoilers, he's going to be in it then. Fantastic. Thanks for that, BioWare. Like, I would have rather have had it at the when it happened at the time. You know, you're like, oh my god, and then you know maybe he's got like a mask on or something that you take off, and then it's like, what does your Shepard look like? They didn't think it through, did they, at all?
So the story just pauses for you to have 5 hours back in the character creator.
Exactly. Yeah, because it will take me 5 hours because that's how bad I am with character creators.
And not only that, it was a completely different engine, so you couldn't even get it quite right anyway. Because
yeah. Well, they're going back to Unreal Engine, aren't they? Unreal Engine 5, which is much better than Frostbite, I think.
It is also like official as well, or very nearly official, that trailer was done in Unreal as well.
Like said it was in game.
Yeah, Mike said it was in game, didn't he?
Yeah, but still.
Thank you, Hollywood guy.
Didn't they say that about Anthem? And then it looked nothing like it. So you know, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Was the Leviathan rumor false? But you can see them in this game. I don't know what the Leviathan rumor is.
I think there was somebody was pretending to be a employee or work for BioWare, and they were saying there was a hidden message in something about the Leviathans and some kind of message from Liara. It all turned out to be bogus. In the end, I think they kept asking him, like, where did you get this information from? Where are your sources? And he just went completely silent. And when people like looked into it in more detail, turned out it was fake. Somebody just trying to get some clicks, I guess. So
there we go.
Tut.
That will happen.
Was it that?
Well, thank you for the super chat anyway. Appreciated.
Was it that the agent was Leviathan?
Can you imagine? Or maybe Leviathan are controlling the agent. Who knows?
It's not a helmet, it's a goldfish bowl. There's a little Leviathan in there.
This isn't Umbrella Academy, Dante. This is not Umbrella Academy. I can't not see that now. That's hilarious.
It is worth noting, though. Like it looks more like it in the poster. But in the poster, it looks like the agent has the Andromeda helmet. It looks
more Andromeda style. I think you're right. It's definitely more Andromeda style. It's sleeker.
I think that's more. You see that more in the video than the.
Yeah, when they turn to the side and it's all red here.
It looks more just like a motorcycle helmet to me in the poster.
Yeah, because there's no N7 marking on it.
But there has been many helmets where there've been no N7 markings on them. You know, even in Mass Effect 1, I think the helmet that Shepard wore didn't have N7 on it. It was just in the second game with the N7 breather helmet,
stripe at least,
which is my favorite of the helmets. But yeah,
apparently, Gamble replied to one of Carla's tweets and said that they didn't put it on the helmet because he didn't want it looking like a motorsport being sponsored by N7.
Yeah,
also makes sense.
Put it on the jacket. But that's the thing as well. Is this an N7? Like, are they actually N7, or like, have they had that jacket custom made?
Or did they steal it off the corpse of an N7 like a trophy?
It's Shepard's evil brother, Sluggard.
Oh no!
That's another.
We need to make a movie.
They're making a TV series, hopefully. But yes,
I hope so. I hope it's happening.
Just the fact it's being made by Amazon really doesn't leave me with much confidence at all. They didn't do a great job with the Lord of the Rings one, did they?
I will admit the Fallout one looks promising. So
I'm not big into. I haven't really played any of the Fallout games, so don't really know much about that.
They're huge, but I love them.
Yeah, I mean, the first like proper Bethesda game I probably have played is actually Starfield, because I do like my sci-fi. But I haven't played any of the Fallout games. I own Fallout 4, and I think I started it, but I got bored.
I get that. It took me like 4 attempts to get past the start of Fallout 4.
It was really slow going. It felt slow anyway, from what I remember.
But once you get into it, like you really get into it. I think
Starfield was kind of like that. It was slow going to start with.
Yeah.
Thanks
a common.
I need to go back to Starfield. I haven't picked that up for a while.
Same.
Yeah, Baldur's Gate 3 taking over my life. And Spider-Man 2 and RoboCop and many other games.
Too many stuff to play. There's not enough time at the minute.
Oh, it's awful. Just a terrible position to be in. Well, terrible for my purse anyway. Not so much for my love of games. But yeah, it's been a crazy good year though.
I know it's like a really random thing to throw out there, but I do feel like maybe we should discuss it.
Random's good.
Did you guys hear about the like heavily I say speculated, but there was a reliable source, Jeff Grubb, I think he was, who said the predicted release date for Mass Effect
2029.
Yeah,
I did see that.
Weren't they just going off Dreadwolf's?
Yeah, they were, and Dreadwolf has had a pretty rocky development. Plus, also we have to remember that Mass Effect, like, the next Mass Effect hasn't literally just started with the release of this trailer. Like, it's been in pre-production since 2018, a long time. So I don't see 2029.
You're looking about 5 years for development, aren't you?
Probably. I can't see it being 2029. That's too far. I hope not anyway. Obviously, they're going to focus on Dreadwolf first. That has to be their priority. And obviously getting that game out. I'm hoping we'll get, I would anticipate we'll get something, hopefully, for Dreadwolf at the Game Awards. If I'm honest, I don't think we're going to get anything else Mass Effect. I don't think we will get anything at the Game Awards now. I think their focus will be and should be on Dragon Age Dreadwolf, and pretty much I think most of the team they've moved on to Dreadwolf, and obviously with the layoffs at BioWare they lost like 50 staff, so that's going to have a big impact upon development.
It is quite worrying though that we know about as much as Mass Effect as we do about Dragon Age.
Yeah, very.
Dragon Age is supposed to have been in alpha for the past year.
100% agree. That's where I think this kind of like, teaser sort of thing. I watched a video today which was on GameSpot. There's a pretty good series where they talk about things. I forget what it's called, but it did actually have Jeff Grubb on it and Tamer Hussein, and they were talking about the danger of what BioWare do with the constantly teasing but not giving anything away and leaving people with more questions. And this idea of it's a very fine line of keeping the hype and expectation real, but eventually people will start to go, okay, where is it then? What actually is going to happen? And I think that's the problem that Dreadwolf actually has. Is the last time they gave like the teaser trailer where they showed Solus, that was it. And we've not had anything really concrete since then. And the longer you go without giving any actual real hints as to what it's about and what it's going to look like, the more worried people get, the more impatient people get. And community patience only goes so far. So I think it is a very delicate balance for BioWare. They don't want to do what Rockstar do. Is it Rockstar? Yeah, where they just radio silence like for 19 years until it's like, oh, by the way, there's a trailer in December. Thank you. Peace out. Like, they're not doing that, thankfully. But I definitely do think they need to be careful. Not show too much, because CD Projekt Red did that with Cyberpunk. But they need to show something, and they need to give some information, not just all questions and guesses and speculation, because people will speculate things and go, oh, it could be that, or it could be that. And then when it isn't that, they'll get inevitably disappointed, right?
Yeah.
So I think it is a very fine balance, I think, for BioWare, and they've got to be careful. I know Mike Gamble loves his riddles, clearly. He loves trolling, clearly. He's very good at it. But needs to be careful, because obviously BioWare are not where they were when Mass Effect 3 came out. They've had Andromeda, which was it wasn't a flop, but it was a disappointment. It didn't perform as well as it did. And then they did Anthem, which was utterly shocking.
Two on the bounce.
So they have a lot of good faith and goodwill to rebuild up. So they are not in a stronger position as they think they are, and they have to be careful.
Not only that, with the layoffs they've had, they've lost some good talent there.
They need a win. They definitely need a win. And certainly, N7 Day always gets people excited and speculating. But I know a lot of people were a little disappointed that we didn't get anything more concrete. But if you don't have anything to show, show something when you've got something to show. Something concrete. And we don't have to have snippets and little clues and teases and here. I don't need that. Just show something when you have something good to show that I can sink my teeth into, and then be like, ooh, awesome. Well, clearly we can see that, and clearly we can see that. I
mean, they just do like a talking head thing and show some concept art and just say, this is where we're going to be going with it, and this is what we're going to be doing. These are the plans we've got.
Right.
Reminders
of the team working on it. These are these are people working on the game, right? Like, passionate about the game. Like, remind people of that, for sure.
This is almost building on our big discussion about the future of BioWare, that episode we did.
I really enjoyed that episode. Yeah,
that was a good chat. Yeah. But this is almost building on that while we were talking about the layoffs. But like, I've been reading a lot more about like across the board, so many companies doing these layoffs, and it attributes to a lot of things, I think. And one I think it was GameSpot or something that said that it could come down to like predictions being completely different because of how 2020 affected everything, and those kind of dipped in sales, just games across the board. And I just think maybe BioWare were forced into a position where they did have to cut down because EA was telling them to or something, and they felt that the number of they had to either get rid of the most expensive members of their team, like the ones that we trust more, but the ones that they still have to pay, that they pay more money to, or they had to let more people go. And I think maybe that was like a difficult choice, but I feel like that's probably what the choice they were faced with was, like either more people or less but more expensive people, if you know what I mean.
But not just expensive, but also experienced
as well. Yeah, that's the best way of putting it.
Something to be said for that. Yeah, like even though for a bookkeeping, they'd be considered the most expensive, obviously, but also expensive to let them go, to make them redundant. Surely they'd be entitled to redundancy pay.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not as much in America compared to what it would be in the UK, but like severance pay, I think they call it, don't they, in America? But they're going to court, aren't they, some of them, because they haven't been given fair severance. And I'm fully behind them. You know, they deserve everything they should get. But Chris said it right there. I can see a comment on there. You don't lay off your A team.
Secret option, just pay cuts for the higher ups that ain't really actually doing anything.
Exactly. like with
people sit in the big leather chairs and
make more money.
Was it Iwata with Nintendo
Iwata,
when the Nintendo Wii didn't do well? I think he took a 5-month pay cut on his wage. CEO of Nintendo at the time, obviously, God rest his soul. He took a 5-month pay cut on his wage so he wouldn't have to lay off staff.
Yeah, don't see anybody else ever even thinking about that, would you?
No. So I can't see any CEOs at EA taking pay cuts anytime soon. So, yeah.
Thank you, Hollywood Guy, for the super chat. BioWare can't afford another flop or disappointment, so I can't see Mass Effect coming out in the next 6 years. This can backfire on them.
But it's worth noting that I don't think they would show like use in-engine footage if we're going to have to wait 6 years or more than 6 years.
Yeah, it'd be Unreal 8 by then.
Yeah. Oh, God.
Coming out in PlayStation 6.
Coming out on PlayStation 6. Jesus.
Edition.
Can't even imagine that. Yeah. I mean, I'm very much a fan of them taking as long as they need, to make the game, to make sure it's good. But also, you just need to communicate more accurately, I suppose, with your community. I'm pretty sure, after the terrible release of Andromeda, they needed longer on Andromeda. Had they been given longer, that game probably would have released in a lot better state than it did. Oh, sorry.
I was going to say they did waste a lot of time, though. You can understand EA going, look, you've had 6 years on this now. We need to see some progress. And they're going, but what about the generated planets?
But they had to completely, the engine and everything, obviously, and make it work for. I mean, obviously, they did that with what came first, Inquisition or Andromeda?
It was Inquisition, I think.
Wasn't it, that came before Andromeda, right? Because in Inquisition is where they first, first used the Frostbite engine, but they had to. I've been reading Jason Schreier's book. He does interview with development studios, and he interviewed a lot of BioWare development members that worked on Dragon Age Inquisition, and it's like a deep dive behind the scenes of the development of that game and some of the challenges they faced in like creating it on Frostbite, and some of the ambitions they had for the game that they weren't able to do because they were hindered because they had to release it on like Xbox 360, PlayStation 3, PS4 and Xbox One, and that really held them back. But it's fascinating read. It's a really interesting read on like just how many issues they had with the Frostbite engine, and obviously they, first learned with because it wasn't made for third-person RPGs. It was made for first-person shooters,
Battlefield,
and sports games. So it was made for Battlefield because it's DICE, obviously. But yeah, so I'm very glad that they're going back to Unreal Engine 5.
Yeah,
I mean,
you can understand the logic behind it. It's like, why do we have to pay all this licensing money when we can have our own engine and cut all that kind of middleman out? But yeah, you need an engine that's functional for what the project that you're going to be working on, not something that, all right, yeah, it looks flashy, but
yeah, another example of higher ups going, we can cost cut here.
Exactly.
Let's screw over the dev team. It's like,
okay. I mean, we've been going for about an hour and a half now, so we'll wrap this one up, I think. Craig, I'll start with you. Is there anything, any final thoughts that you might have?
I don't know. I just get the feeling that pizza delivery Volus is the agent.
That's why he's at the bar. He's picking up pizza, fighting off some Krogan for it.
Okay. That it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's ending on high with a joke.
Dante, any final thoughts on the trailer or the poster or the Volus?
I feel like we could end up going on for like another 5 hours or something.
Very easily.
But if Hannah can't wear sweaters in this new game, it's going to be 0 out of 10 for me. I'm sorry.
Hannah
with her little polka dot bow.
With her self-knitted jumpers. Right.
Sweatbands ain't enough. I can't get full on sweaters.
Oh my God, that needs to be a thing. Needs to happen. Okay, yes.
And Kate, any final thoughts?
How the frick do I follow that? I'm not going to tell a joke because I'm just not as funny. I'm intrigued. I actually really like the style and look of the new N7 agent, whatever they are. I do think they're an antagonist. I don't think they're the protagonist. I'm now sold on the fact they might be hunting down Liara or following her. I'm kind of sold on that. I think I've convinced myself that that's going to be a thing. It probably won't be. Yeah, I'm kind of, I'm intrigued. I'm gonna be watching the Jennifer Hale Mark May, the cast reunion on Sunday, which is at 9 p.m. I think UK time, and probably over analyzing everything they say. What do they know? So I don't know. I'm intrigued. That's it. They can't say anything because of NDA. It's mostly Ali that if she's going to know anything, but she might not know anything because they're clearly in pre-production still. And I want to see more concept art. If I'm honest with you, I want to see more concept art to get a better sense of the setting where we are. I don't necessarily need to see stuff like this, which is like, I've no idea who this person is. I still have no idea when it's set or how it's going to link to Andromeda, how that's even possible. But I'm intrigued.
Yeah, I think it's intentional.
Yeah, keeping everything a mystery.
Yeah.
It's keeping you guessing. It's definitely keeping you guessing. Obviously, it could be anything, and that's more exciting when it could be anything because it means the possibilities are limitless. Could be anything, which is exciting and daunting at the same time.
It's also driving everyone nuts.
It is, me especially. How I'm going to get my thoughts together. I'm going to have to get my thoughts together, obviously, and I've had time to reflect and think on it. But yeah, I like the Renegade Paragon vibe to it. and I'm very game to see that return in the next Mass Effect. And I'm intrigued, definitely. And I would like to play as a secret agent. That would be kind of cool, but mostly because I played Cyberpunk 2077 Phantom Liberty recently, and spies are cool. So, especially in futuristic settings. Exactly. So
V is the agent.
V is the agent. So, but yes. So who knows? But I did enjoy it. I enjoyed N7 Day, and I really enjoyed it this year because I got to like collaborate with a lot of different content creators, and Carla Elizabeth and Atharia and Ash, Lady Insanity, who was one of the inspirations for me to actually become a YouTuber. So that was like my dream. So I'm like, I was just in awe of being in the same chat room as her. So yeah, I really enjoyed this current N7 Day, and it was fun because I got to spend it more rather than just myself. I got to spend it with the community, which was really fun, and I really enjoyed it. So I'm looking forward to. I'm going to book the day off next year for sure. I'm going to need to, and the day after, so I can actually do some content pretty quickly. But we will see. Yeah,
live stream on the day as it happens.
Yeah, I think so.
It does feel like they've stepped up from the previous year, so maybe they'll step up again.
Think so. I didn't know how they could because I really enjoyed last year. I was like, how are they going to do that? But they really did. Like, it was fun, like the countdown and everything, and the hidden nuggets. So
I think last year was just the guest poster, though.
No, that was the year before. That was the year before. I think the guest poster. So last year was the blog post with the concept art, the 2 concept arts that we got that look very like Asari worlds, and then we also got the clip with the audio that was all like muffled, like weird, distorted, and then someone cleaned it up, and then it was Liara's voice, and then I did a video on it last year, like totally like picked apart everything.
The Oculus relay thing.
Yes, exactly. So
maybe next time we'll get audio in the trailer.
Maybe.
Yeah.
A voice. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, that just leaves me to say thank you very much for joining us, Kate and Dante. The Normandy News Feed is your podcast.
Yes, it is. Yeah, we will be doing one this month, actually. It's going to be a bit of a special extended one this month. I'm going to be doing 2 interviews. One of them, obviously, will be to discuss N7 Day and the teaser again. Tim will be joining us for that. Thank you, Tim. And we'll also be joined by Mother Mantis as well. So she's a huge Mass Effect fan, so she'll be joining. And I'm also going to be doing an interview with Mother Mantis and some people I play Destiny with. And we're going to be talking about the Bungie layoffs and the future of Destiny. And then Dante and Fish will also be there for parts of it too. So it's going to be quite a big one in November. So I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, a bit of a new, different style this month, but it should be good.
That's on all good podcatchers, is it?
Yes. Podbean and different things.
Mostly just YouTube.
I'm mostly on my YouTube channel. Yes,
YouTube.
I need to try and get the podcast side of it, audio side of it, a little bit better, and get them up there. But yeah.
Cool. Yeah, links will be in the description as well for all of these. So make sure you go and check those out. So a big thank you to Craig for joining us, as usual, and Dante and Kate. And until next time, we'll see you later.
Johnny!
We should go! That wasn't as cool as Jennifer Hale.
No.